I got to be honest with you. The end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025 has been a rough time for us. Coming to get that. Oh my God, you guys. So this is my storage unit. If hopefully you have a good view here. But this is my storage closet. I've been kind of organizing it, figuring out where all my work stuff goes, and up there where all the wood is, and kind of organizing my tools on the side here. But you guys, I've been got to take my Christmas lights down, so that's why I'm getting my ladder. Got to work on that bicycle. Tea, yeah. Wait.
No, I was gonna say, just let me know if you need anything. I was gonna ask if you wanted to walk the talkies,
Oh no, I'm alright.
Okay.
And lucky I'm tall enough to reach this section. Over there, I have to get my ladder. Oh my goodness. Oh. Very good beauty. For my calculations, this is all just mumbo jumbo. But 48 pieces of plywood sheathing, I believe is what they call it professionally, for the roof, for the entire roof. Yeah. We went through some health issues. Some pretty severe health issues, and I want to touch on that. That's one of the reasons why I didn't post so much in 2024, is that Allison and I were going through I was going through some kidney problems. Allison was going through some liver problems. We're very healthy people, so we really didn't know why this was happening to us. But it turns out, well, let me start here. We've been in this house for 4 years. Some of you probably know where I'm going with this. But we bought the house as is. When we first bought the house, we had an inspector come through who was recommended by our realtor. And I suggest you get a third-party inspector to inspect your home, because when you get an inspector who's working directly with your realtor, some shady stuff, it can happen. I'm not saying that he was a bad inspector. He was honest about some things, but a little unconcerned about certain things that he should have been more concerned about. One of those things was that this is my storage unit. Here I am. The only access to our attic space is through this storage unit. And when we were getting the house inspected, we were locked out of the storage unit, which is connected to the house, obviously. It's how you get up there. And he wasn't very concerned about that, checking the roof. He looked outside and said, oh, the shingles look good. The roof looks like they did it recently. It looks like a good roof. And after we bought the house, we're new homeowners, novice homeowners. After we bought the house, miraculously, the previous owners mailed us the key and said, oh, here, we found the key to the storage unit. So that just miraculously showed up. And when I entered the storage unit, I went up into the roof and found that the roof was old. And by old, I mean falling apart. They redid the shingles, but they didn't redo the wood. The wood is still, judging by the quality of the wood, and you can just flake it off with your hands. And this is like plywood. It's not particle board. It's like a 1/4-inch plywood. So you can feel it when you step on the roof. It like caves in certain areas, and it just falls apart. It just flakes off. So the roof needs to be redone. And along with that, the roof has leaks, which we just started to see on our ceiling maybe in the last year or so. And I would go up and I would fix those leaks. Like I would change out the wood. I would remove the shingles, cut out the wood, put new wood down. Shingles and all that stuff, they redid the wood too. I don't think they did. They probably paid for a cheaper job. So I've been going through and replacing all of the wood myself, removing the shingles, replacing the wood, putting the shingles back on, because the shingles are still good. The paper underneath them is worn out, and the wood underneath the worn out sections of the paper is where the leaks are happening. In doing that, in that process, I found that the roof was very old. They didn't redo the paper, they didn't redo the wood, they just simply put down new shingles to make it look pretty, whoever flipped the house. So essentially they did a landlord special on the house and they just painted over everything. They cut out sections of drywall where I'm assuming there was rot or mold, and instead of remediating that stuff, they just covered it up. So after 3 years of being in the house, having recently starting to get kidney issues, I had rashes all over my hands. They're so much better. I don't know if you can really even see it anymore. They're still dry and cracked from the steroid creams, the antifungal creams that I was putting on there. But we have had to detox ourselves, our pets, and everything because we have a mold issue. Allison was having liver issues. Her eyes swelled up. She had rashes in her armpits. And she ended up going to a naturopath who found during a urine test that she had high levels of mycotoxins in her body. One of those, that's mold spores. And one of those mold spores comes from dirty air ducts. So I went out, obviously, naturally, and checked the HVAC unit, which we were paying to be maintenanced by a local company here, the biggest company in Charlotte. It's Morris Jenkins. We were paying them to come out and service our HVAC unit. I found that the guy was not cleaning anything. He let our HVAC unit become full of mold, and specifically in a spot that he was stacking water bottles. So he would stand out there for 4 hours at a time, talking on the phone, drinking water bottles, and then just stacking water bottles in a section of our furnace. And it's a big outdoor furnace, and there's one section where the return comes from the air. The air sucks in through your home, it comes out, goes through the heater, and back into the house through the vents. And those coils that it passes through, it looks like a radiator almost. When it passes through those, that was absolutely caked over in black mold, and I will show you a video of me cleaning that. Absolutely caked over. And so Morris Jenkins, the guy who was working for Morris Jenkins, was not doing his job. We ended up canceling the service. I ended up switching out every single component of that furnace. I went to a local Ferguson HVAC supply, and I got every single part that I could possibly pick up for that HVAC unit and cleaned everything. I changed the blower motor, I changed the compressors, I changed all the coils, or cleaned what I could on the coils. I changed all the switchboards, all the wiring, everything. Literally everything in that HVAC unit is brand new now, the outdoor furnace. And so I did that all myself. I've been maintaining it myself since then. But the neglect on the service that we were paying for is what caused a huge part of our kidney problems and our liver problems, was a dirty HVAC unit. So since I cleaned that, our health issues have been getting a little bit better. However, we bought this house. When we bought this house, we were locked out of this storage unit that I'm standing in right now. And that up there is the only way to enter our attic space. The realtor that we went through, she recommended the inspector that we used to inspect the house. And he wasn't bad, but he could have been a little bit more concerned with certain things in the house than he was. They did do mold tests, but they did mold tests. So when we bought the house, when we came through to look at it, they had fans going everywhere. There were fans constantly blowing in the house, like in every room, fans. And I just figured that was because they just did a remodel. And it turns out that no, it wasn't for the remodel, it was for the mold in the house. So when they did the mold issue, or the inspection and did the mold tests, everything came back fine. But that's because they had just put up new drywall, painted over everything, and put new flooring down. So I remember walking in the week after we bought the house and all the fans were removed, and we walk in and I remember going, it smells like wet wood in here. And Allison was like, I don't smell it. And I think she was just being optimistic, happy to be a new first homeowner, but I was like, I smell wet wood. And it turns out that's what it is. So we 2 weeks after we moved in, we miraculously had a key show up in the mail from the previous owners, and they said, "Oh, we found the key. Here it is." And we bought the house as is. So I ended up coming up into the attic space and seeing that the roof was not redone. They just redid the shingles on the roof. The wood, the paper underneath the shingles, the tar paper and everything, it's original to the house. It's clearly original to the house. So it's from 1966. Growing black mold, growing mildew all over. Luckily the rafters are okay. So the rafters are surprisingly okay, but the wood underneath the shingles is just gone. You can flake it off with your hands. It's old, it's bad. They never redid the roof. They said they did, but they just put new shingles down. The crawl space had some mold and mildew in it that I have been going down and remediating. But guys, our health issues are coming from all of this mold. So we have a big mold issue in the house. Whether it be the HVAC machine, the dryer from the washer and dryer was routed into the house through one of those little portable circular water catches that you can get at Lowe's. And that was causing issues inside the house. I'm talking like dripping condensation down the windows. So we routed that out. I ended up cleaning the HVAC machine. I still have to redo the roof. That's my next big project. So we have to do that. We're getting married in a couple months. We want to start a family. One of the biggest reasons for miscarriages and health concerns and issues during a pregnancy is mold in your body, is mycotoxins, birth defects, and so on. So we really don't want that. If we sold this house right now as is, we could probably make $100,000 off the house. But I don't want to sell the house to somebody who's just going to adopt the same health problems that we have currently or that we're getting over right now. So I want to remediate and fix everything that has to do with mold in the house before we sell it. Most people are like, just sell it, dude. They're going to tear it down anyways. I get that. But I really want to fix all this stuff just in case somebody who buys it doesn't tear it down. I don't want them to live in this and have the same health issues. So I really want to make this house perfect. And that's where we're at right now with projects. I have to do the crawl space still, sections of it. I'm going to redo the air ducts in the house. Oh gosh, I did the HVAC machine and I have to do the roof. And it's a lot of work, you guys. It's a lot of work. I'm doing it all myself, all alone. I don't trust anybody anymore. Morris Jenkins doing the HVAC machine, and we also paid for them to do our plumbing at the same time. And we had 1 foot of copper pipe that needed to be replaced, and they ended up telling us, and we're new homeowners, you guys, we got swindled. They ended up telling us that they needed to remove because of like new laws or something, that they needed to remove all of our plumbing, every little last bit of it, and redo all the plumbing. And we have a small house, you guys. It's a 1,100 square foot house. So it's a small house. We have 2 bathrooms and a kitchen. And they charged us $14,000 for all of that. And it's a very little amount. It's very little amount. They did not do a ton of work, and they charged us probably $10,000 more than they should have. So we really don't trust. I got a sour taste in my mouth from working with a company like that just neglected many services that we paid for, or charged us way too much. So I'm doing all of these projects myself. You guys, I've already priced out the materials. I've already done all that. So it's going to get done. There is a light at the end of this tunnel in 2025, you guys. I do see that. We also have really bad neighbors over here to the left of us. They are from El Salvador, so they don't speak English, and I'm not saying anything, but you can't communicate with these people. My neighbors specifically. They get drunk, shoot their guns into their swimming pool. The dad is always scowling. He's always got this scowl on his face. You walk outside and he just watches you from your deck. He just watches you. And if you wave at him, he just goes and just looks away. He's got this really bad attitude. The mom is a drunk as well. They sit out there for 8 hours at a time listening to their music, just sitting there getting drunk, shit-faced, and then listening to this banda music that goes on for 8 hours at a time, like sometimes till 2 a.m. And it just goes on and on. Or he's sitting in his truck in his front yard, just getting drunk in his truck, listening to music blasting out of his truck. Really bad neighbors, you guys. One time I asked them if they could like keep it down. It was like 2 a.m. and I was like, can you guys like maybe turn your music off? And because it's just, the bass just permeates your house. And he started yelling at me. The wife started yelling at me, getting crazy, throwing things at me. And the next morning I woke up and they had thrown burning wood over our fence up against the side of our house. And you could see burn marks going up the side of the house. And that was just like, I was like, wow, you don't care if I die or not. So unneighborly, you know? And I have guns too, you guys, but I'm not shooting him. I'm not getting drunk and shooting him into my swimming pool and then throwing burning wood over my fence at my neighbors. And again, they don't speak English. So like all they could do was tell me to F my mother in Spanish and throw shit at me. And I was like, all right, well, you know, and that's kind of taking over our whole neighborhood. Unfortunately, people like that. It's getting worse and worse. And it sucks. It really sucks because we love this house. It's perfect for us. It's a perfect size. But with the mold issues, being swindled out of our, you know, plumbing and our HVAC unit being just like filthy dirty, causing us like really severe health issues that could potentially kill us. It's been a burden, you know, it's been a very big burden this house has. So again, I don't want to sell this house to somebody who's going to adopt the same problems I did. I'd rather fix those first. But with the bad neighbors, the roof, the crawl space, the house, the HVAC machine, the mold, all of that stuff, we're looking to move. So, like I said, in all honesty, if we sold this house, we could probably pull $100,000 and get $100,000 back off the house. And with that money, we would like to move to a farm, start a little farm of our own, garden with some livestock. And we would probably build like we'd probably maybe buy like a small trailer or a tiny home or live in a yurt until I built a bigger house on the property. And that's just been a big project of ours, guys. So I have to redo the roof. We're looking to move. We want to have a baby in the neck. We don't want to wait 5 years because this neighborhood in 5 years is going to be a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. No question about it. And we are not going to wait for that. I don't care about the money. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm really concerned with our health and how we want to start a family and have babies. I don't care about the money. I would rather live completely self-sustained on a property in the middle of nowhere, fully paid off, never having to look at my neighbors. I don't want to see my neighbors get drunk and fight and run across the front of my fucking yard and scream at each other and all this crazy shit. So we're really over that. I got a lot of projects I'm working on. I got this bicycle, this Varsity, this Schwinn. I'm working on the Trooper. A lot of different things, you guys. 2025 is going to be a good year. Our health is getting back in line. This rash on my hands is basically gone. I'm left with just like really dry, cracked skin. You guys, I would suggest that if you are buying a house, if you're in the market for a house, get a third-party inspector. Get somebody who's really going to give you an honest opinion. And pay for, you know, instead of paying for services, like figure it out yourself. And if you can't, find someone who's honest, who can do your HVAC machine. Find a smaller plumber who's not going to charge you $14,000 to do 1 foot of copper pipe. So guys, that is our 2025 update. I wish it was a little bit happier and better, but I only posted 14 videos last year because I was so sick. And it to me is like shameful and dismal. I don't care if I'm sick. I want to be posting these videos. I know this is a hobby of mine, but I would like to make it something more. And I appreciate each and every one of you. That's why I appreciate all those likes and subscribes, because it brings me closer to that goal. I still am working on the Trooper. I'm still doing all that stuff. I have a lot of projects that I'm doing. So you guys, I appreciate you for sticking around and listening through this whole rant. This is a long rant, 17 minutes. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for clicking like. Thank you for clicking subscribe, sticking with me through this whole thing, guys. I'm going to be posting a lot more content. Trust me. I promise I will. I make all the music for this channel. Every song that I use in my videos, I make every one of those songs. I edit everything, shoot everything. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around. It takes a lot. But this is freaking 18 minutes long. So I'm going to go, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.